enough is enough. I didn't want to be like everybody else. I wanted to be the fucking best at everything I did. I want to be remembered forever. And in order for that to happen, I realized I needed to act like it. Because being an average human being, being a sheep like the rest, isn't gonna get me there. This is something you all need to understand. If you want to be the best in whatever you do, you gotta start acting different than everybody else. If you want the nicest car, if you want to live in the nicest neighborhood, if you want the nicest clothes, the nicest jewelry, the nicest partner, the best of everything comes with a fucking price. It comes from grinding through those late nights. It comes from grinding through those early mornings. It comes from those exhausting days where every fucking fiber of your body is telling you to give up. If you want to separate yourself from other people in the world, you gotta start acting differently. And it starts with taking responsibility for your life. You see, every day you are presented with two paths. One path leads to your true potential. It leads to that first class ticket. It leads to that fancy car. It leads to that fancy house. It leads to those dreams you have every single night when you close your fucking eyes. And the other path is you staying the same. You see, most of you are stuck on the path of staying the same because you don't understand how to take responsibility for what is happening in your life. It's not that you don't want everything that comes with the path that leads to your true potential, but you are too hung up on blaming the past and the present. You are too hung up on blaming your mom for how she treated you when you were younger. You are too hung up on blaming your teachers for how they spoke to you. You're too hung up on anything that happened to you years ago. I'm not trying to discredit your pain, but you gotta let that go. And because of that, you aren't able to appreciate the strength and power you have today. You aren't able to step into that power because you are choosing to justify excuses every single time you open your fucking eyes. It's time to take responsibility. Understand that you are in control of how you feel every day, what you do every day, how you act every day. So don't get it twisted. The excuse that these outside sources control how you feel, what you do, and how you act is just a justification that has been drilled into your head since you were younger. Break out of it. Understand that we have the power to change our lives. Stop putting the power in other people's hands by blaming them for your current situation. Take that back. Choose to shift the trajectory of your life so you can live up to your true potential. The King Eric Thomas said it best. Everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do. Guess what? Beasts don't sleep in every day. They understand that they need to sacrifice sleep in order to be successful. Beasts don't binge watch Netflix. When they want to change their life, they utilize that time to take action. Beasts don't blame the past for where they are in the present. They utilize that pain as a lesson so they can see more success in the future. Embrace self-discipline. Stop trading short-term pleasure for long-term gains. Choose to make decisions that are going to benefit your life every day. Take control of your life so you can separate yourself from the masses. Choose to be the absolute best version of yourself and walk down the path that leads to you achieving your true potential. You got this. Let's go.
Today, we work. Today, we grind. Today, we stand the fuck up and we choose to become who we want to be in this world. To choose to achieve everything. To choose to chase our fucking goals and our dreams and our aspirations regardless of what's going on. You gotta become relentless. You gotta become unwavering, obsessed if you want to pass that test, if you want to achieve that goal. and if you want that thing to become your reality. Keep pushing. Keep grinding. Push through that noise, push through that pain, push through the resistance, and push through the fucking roadblocks. That feeling of wanting to quit, that feeling of wanting to throw in the towel, that feeling where every fiber of your being wants to give up is the test. The test to see if you actually want this shit. The test to see if you got what it takes to make the dream a reality. The test that so many others have fucking failed. You gotta make the choice to either quit and be like everyone else, or keep pushing and separate yourself from the masses. Get the fuck up. You ain't quitting on me. You ain't quitting on yourself. You ain't quitting on your people. It ain't happening. Get up. I'm not gonna let you become like everybody else. I'm not gonna let you give up on this journey, and neither are you. You owe it to you to keep pushing. Get out of your fucking head and into your shoes. Get out of your head and take action. Scream, affirm who you are. I am unstoppable. I am unwavering. I am relentless. I am obsessed, and I will never quit until I make that thing my fucking reality. Nothing will stand in my way, and I don't care if the weight of all worlds is on my back. I will never kneel. I get it. I understand what you're going through. I understand what you're feeling. Day after day, week after week, month after month, it just feels like that weight on your shoulders, on your back, is just getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and it's not letting up. But I get it. You feel like you should be further along because you have been pushing and pushing and pushing without anything happening. You feel like you should already be there. You feel like you should have already succeeded in your venture. So it's super frustrating when you look up and you realize you've barely moved forward. Some might tell you that quitting isn't that bad and that you need to learn when to quit, but not today. In order to achieve the goal, the dream life, that next step, it's gonna take time. And when I say time, I don't mean a couple months. And I don't mean a couple days. When I'm talking about time, it might take decades for you to get to where you want to be. How badly do you want it? Are you in for this shit? Or are you just another person who likes to talk? But that's the reality of the life we live in. That's how this shit works. Achieving anything is gonna take time. It's harder than it looks when you start. It takes longer than you think it's going to. Just pivot the focus. Turn your eyes to something else. Distract your mind. Stop focusing on the pain and focus on other things. I don't care what the situation is, and I don't care how long you've been grinding. There is always a positive turn. There is always a different perspective that you can lean into that will distract you from that loud-ass voice telling you to quit. In order to become a diamond, not only do you gotta deal with immense pressure, but you gotta deal with immense heat, and you gotta get cut. You don't just wake up and decide to be a diamond. It's not like you just pull that rock out the fucking ground and it looks like the thing everybody wants. It's not like you just pull the rock out the ground and it doesn't have to go through anything to become great, to become beautiful. What you focus on will become your reality. If you are obsessing over how hard this journey is, it's never gonna get easier. If you're obsessing about how long this is taking you, it's only going to take longer. And if you continue to think about the time and the pain and the frustration and the reasons why you haven't gotten to the goal yet, you're gonna become like everybody else. Eventually, you are going to fall into the mold of society's standard, meaning the same as every person who's never gotten anywhere. Eventually, you're going to be defined as One of the normal masses who tried and gave the fuck up. So make the choice. You know, the choice to do the fucking work regardless of how you feel. Regardless of how much time it's going to take to get there. And regardless of what is going on in your life. We all have that choice. We are all faced with the same choice every day. Wake up and remain the same, or do the things that are going to mold our future. That's it. You can complain, you can whine, you can get angry, fuck, you can even throw a tantrum, but that isn't going to change the situation in front of you. That's not going to magically make the goal become your reality. That's not going to magically make everything fall into your lap. The people who are on the podium laugh when you say quit. They spit when you say quit. They will fight and die before they give up on their dreams. Don't give up. Don't give in to the voices. You gotta keep pushing. You gotta keep grinding. You gotta get through this shit. Because the easy route is never the smartest. It never gets you to where you want to be, and it will always come with a consequence. It will never help you become the person you dream of being. It will never build you into the person that can handle more. Some of you might not align with that mindset. You might not have that in you. It's okay. Not everybody's meant to win. Not everybody's meant to be great. But I think you are. One day I would drop the drugs and stop being a loser. One day I'd drop the bottle and stop trying to find myself at the bottom of it. One day I would change what it meant to have my family's last name. One day I'd retire my wife so she could do whatever she wanted and not have to go clock into somewhere she hates. And one day I'd give my kids everything they ever wanted so they never knew what it was like to experience pain and abuse like I did. You see, I was always willing to look into the future. I was always willing to look into the future and say, one day, everything will fucking change, even though everyone around me told me to stop. Even though everyone around me told me that shit was ridiculous. Even though everyone around me told me that there was no way that would happen because no one had ever experienced that type of success one day. It didn't matter that they were trying to talk me out of it, and it didn't matter that they were telling me I couldn't do it. I didn't care that they didn't believe in me because I believed in me. Now, I didn't know how I was gonna do it, but I knew I could because if they could, I could. If they can, I can. Success leaves clues. There are millions of people in the world seeing grand success and they're dropping breadcrumbs every fucking day. You just gotta pay attention to the steps. They're showing you a path to a better future. They're showing you a path to your goals and aspirations. You just gotta believe in you. You gotta be willing to say one day and then work as hard as you fucking can every day in order to make it happen. Because everything you want is in your mind. Everything that you want to achieve, you can do. You just gotta be willing to speak it. You gotta be willing to say it out loud. You gotta be willing to yell it into the fucking universe and then work towards it. You gotta be ballsy enough to speak it out loud. And you gotta be courageous enough to scream it to the fucking mountaintops and then deal with the doubt from your family and your friends and the haters and the skeptics and everybody else who doesn't fucking believe in you. You gotta be willing to stand on your word, stand on your goals, stand on your aspirations, and scream, one day I'll do it. One day I'll make it happen, and one day I'll achieve everything I've ever fucking wanted. And once you do that, then you gotta do what needs to be done. And that means you're gonna have to make some sacrifices. You're gonna have to sacrifice those weekends. You're gonna have to sacrifice those days out. You're gonna have to sacrifice that TV time. Fuck, you're gonna have to sacrifice hanging out with those old high school buddies. A lot of you guys gotta cut out those old friends, those doubters, those naysayers, those people that have been with you since you were a kid that haven't done anything good for your life. And those sacrifices are necessary because in order to achieve them, in order to reach that pinnacle, you're gonna have to focus on you, yourself, your goals, and your dreams rather than their doubt. Because the truth is this, that one day, that goal, that dream, that reality that you crave so badly is gonna come with a price. Are you willing to work later than everybody else? Are you willing to wake up earlier than everybody else? Are you willing to be made fun of, called an outsider, a weirdo, someone who's consistently changed? Are you willing to be ridiculed and talked down to just because you want that one day goal to become your one day reality? Are you willing to run like a wolf, 30 miles, 10 plus hours a day just so you can eat? If you are, you gotta be willing to walk alone. Because people aren't gonna understand you when you start this journey. They're not gonna believe in you, and they're not gonna pat you on the back for starting in the first place, nor should they. It's not your mom's job to believe in you. It's not your dad's job to believe in you. It's not your friend's job to believe in you. It's not their job to push you through the process to make sure you see success. It's not their goals, it's not their dreams, they're yours. And you gotta be willing to do whatever the fuck it takes to make that one day today. One day. That used to be the theme song of my family. One day. One day we'll get that. One day we'll get there. One day everything will change. That shit used to be ingrained in us. It's what we lived off of. It's what we leaned into every day. It became the theme song of my life. City to city, school to school, home to home, we would move around and I would talk about successes that my family have never seen before. I remember sitting on the couch with my baby brother, and while we were watching a movie, a guy pulled up in a brand new silver Audi R8. And that moment shifted my entire reality because inside me, something started to scream. So I looked at my baby brother, locked eyes with him, and I said, one day, that car will be mine. Now you see, that shit was ridiculous. And it was ridiculous to my family and everybody else around us because no one around us had ever done that before. No one was driving those types of cars, living in those types of houses, doing anything right with their lives. So when I spoke it into the ether, when I spoke it out loud, everybody started to laugh. Nobody had ever seen that type of success. And nobody had ever changed their fucking life like I wanted to. There was just something inside me screaming, telling me that I needed to do more. I was always talking about the next thing. I was always talking about what I didn't have, and I was so sick and tired of fucking settling. I was sick and tired of my life. I wanted more. So I would just continue to talk about the future and how one day I would change everything. If I did it, so can you. My one day is today. Drug-free for over 8 years. Haven't touched a sip of alcohol in over 2 years. In the last 3 generations, I've taken my family from sleeping on dirt floors in Portugal to $1 million homes and supercars that no one else has drove with my last name. I retired my wife back in 2019 and she never has to work again. My beautiful baby boy will never understand what it's like to struggle, not be able to eat, not be able to bathe in hot water, or deal with abuse and trauma in his lifetime. My people are protected, provided, and guided through all struggle in life. My one day, that dream, that thought that I had when I had fucking nothing, sitting in that trailer with a hungry belly, not knowing what I was gonna do with my life, is now my reality because I was willing to yell it, I was willing to speak it, and I was willing to do whatever it took to make it fucking happen. And that was only the start. I've got a new one day now, and the work is only beginning.